It is really nice to be in person with all of you for our 8th annual kickoff event. My name is Betsy Yost, and on behalf of Impact 100, I'd like to welcome all of our guests, our returning members, and of course, our new members too. It might surprise you to know that I am a new member, but even though I'm new, I was really excited for the opportunity to just jump in and chair tonight's event. I will also be chairing our 8th annual Helping Hands event that will be held right here at the Wisconsin Club on December 1st. So mark your calendars and bring your friends. Before we start tonight's program, I'd like to take a minute to thank our sponsors. Our $1,000 in-kind supporting sponsors are Studio Gear and 1111. And our $2,500 sustaining sponsors are Boucher, they're up there. The Boucher family of dealerships, the Ellen Becker Investment Group, and the Orthopedic Hospital of Wisconsin. I only had to twist my husband's arm just a little bit for that last one. But in all seriousness, tonight's event and so many others would not be possible without their generous donations. So let's give them all a really big round of applause. I would also like to thank the Wisconsin Club and their staff for their attention to detail and their excellent service. Please make sure you get some more appetizers. And without further ado, let's kick off another great year with Impact 100 Milwaukee.
That video just gets me pumped. Woo! Welcome to the 2022 Impact 100 kickoff event. Thanks, Betsy, for stepping up to chair this event. It's been wonderful so far, and hopefully we bring you a great program. We're expecting big things in 2023. We expect a higher number of project proposals for our grants, because we increased the upper bound on the revenue threshold for organizations to apply from $5 million to $7 million. So we expect more organizations to now be eligible for our grants. We expect more members to be engaged with the rollout of our ambassador program. We've grouped our members into teams of 10 to 15 with an ambassador leader. Think a Girl Scout troop. To keep them informed, send them invites, and make sure they renew. We have a lot of ambassadors with us tonight. They have the red tag, so feel free to see one of them. Actually, can I have all the ambassadors stand up? That's like an Impact 100 thing now. We expect to expand our reach with an Impact 100 app. That's right, we have an app. If you haven't downloaded our app yet, search Impact 100 Greater Milwaukee in the App Store. You can check to see if your membership is renewed, find members in your area with our member map, register for an event like tonight, or check to see if a friend registered for an event. If you need help downloading our app, we have an IT help desk right outside that would be more than willing to assist. Also, personally, I'm expecting another son in February. I didn't check what the maternity policy is, so if anybody knows that. Lastly, we expect you to mark your calendars for our 2023 annual awards celebration on June 6th. This is the event where we'll vote on our 2023 grantees. In front of you on your tables or roaming around tonight, we have first a handout for how to get more involved. That has our grant timelines, leadership opportunities, and ways to get involved. We also have in front of you a postcard. We'd love it if you could invite and send this to your nonprofits that you think might be eligible for one of our grants. It's an exciting time in the grant cycle as we ask our community, what would you do with $100,000? I am proud to introduce Ann Shoemaker and Beth Coomer, our grant directors, up to the stage to tell us more.
Good evening, everyone. It's so nice to see everybody. I'm Ann Shoemaker. Thank you, Stacy. And with my co-director, Beth Coomer, we have the pleasure of leading a really talented and very fun group of women who have volunteered to work on the grants team this year. Where are those ladies?
They should come up here right now.
Yes. We have other members of our grant team. Where are they? Come on up, girls. There she is. In no specific order. Jamie Malatesta, right there. Yay. Is our grant development chair this year. In case you don't know, she is a founder of Impact 100 Milwaukee. She is a past president. And she was my grant co-director last year, my twin grant co-director last year. She has an incredible institutional history. So if you have a question, she can answer it. So seek her out if you want to know anything about Impact 100. Last year, you may remember that Jill Boyle served as the chair of Beyond the Headlines. She is our financial review chair this year. She is not up here with us tonight because her car broke down on the way back from Illinois. So last I heard, she was a little bit hissy, but I think she would much rather be here. But if any of you have a financial background and you are interested in working on one of the committees with our chairs as a financial liaison, please see any one of us, and we can give you some information about that. Nancy Remar-Smith returns for a second year as our grant platform chair. Nancy couldn't be with us tonight because she is exploring Africa. So I guess that's a pretty good excuse. But she made sure that our LOI application was ready to launch today. So she did that before she left. Thank you, Nancy. But Nancy handles the Foundant platform, and while you don't see her in person too much, she's always working on enhancing our members and nonprofits experience. She's a behind-the-scenes gal, but does a tremendous amount of work for us. And now I have one public service announcement. Last year, Benedict Center received a $100,000 grant from us. I was lucky enough to announce that grant, so that was very fun. They are getting ready to host their fundraising event. It is a virtual event. It is called Benedict Center's Women in Justice on September 21st. So please, if you are interested in and attending that virtually, I think probably going online is your best bet to Benedict Center, and that information will be there? Yep. Okay, now I'll turn over to Beth.
Hi, everyone. I'm Beth Coomer again, and I'm thrilled to be working with Ann as the grant co-director this year. Grants is why we're all here, right? You join Impact 100 to put your money with a bunch of other women so we can give out these transformational grants. So I love this part of what we do, and I encourage all of you to join a grant committee this year. It was one of the first things I did when I joined. I served on a committee for a couple of years, and last year I chaired a committee. And so I would like to introduce our chairs this year. We have, for new people, we have 5 focus areas. And so I'll start here on the end with Amy Berry. She was on her first committee last year with that gal next to her, Pam. And she liked it so much, so she's going to chair our family committee, our education committee this year. I got them confused. And next to her is Pam Klein, who's coming back for her second year to chair, which we're thrilled about, and she'll be chairing health and wellness. Next to Pam is Bonnie Tesh, who has done a number of different things within the Impact 100 grant committees, and she'll be in charge of environment and revitalization, that committee, this year. And then Christine Anderson on the end is going to be, now your education, your family, because she's education. So Chris is coming back for her second year as well, so we're also thrilled about that, and she will be chairing that committee. We are missing Julie Barris. She's not here, I guess, or she didn't want to come up. Julie was actually our financial review chair last year, but this year she's going to chair a grant committee, so we're thrilled about that, and she'll be doing the Arts and Culture grant committee. You'll learn more about how to sign up for grant committees in the coming months, and in January will be when we actually do the sign up of the committees. If you have any questions about the grant process or how any of that works, again, I know Ann mentioned this, any of us up here would love to talk to you afterwards and educate you because we love grants. It's very exciting, and it's going to be a great year. In a few minutes, we will hear updates from 2 of the 2020 $100,000 grant recipients. NAMI's Mary Madden is here tonight to tell us about their progress, and we have a video update from Pastor James Buskey of Lighthouse Youth Center. But before we hear from them, let's take a look at some of the amazing projects that your membership has helped over the years.
When day comes, we ask ourselves, where can we find light in this never-ending shade? The loss we carry, a sea we must wade. We've braved the belly of the beast. We've learned that quiet isn't always peace. In the norms and notions of what just isn't always just is.
Less than 1/3 of Milwaukee teens find jobs, and unemployment is higher in communities of color.
Forever we won't be together, you and me.
And yes, we are far from polished, far from pristine, but that doesn't mean we are striving to form a union that is perfect. We are striving to forge our union with purpose, to compose a country committed to all cultures, colors, characters, and conditions of man.
Research has shown that slow, intentional walks in nature help heal trauma and treat traumatized children, veterans, and victims of violence.
Have any of your children ever made a mistake? Have they ever made a mistake that will be life-threatening? Have they ever made a mistake that they will regret the rest of their life? And my question to you is, do you stop loving them? Do you turn your back on them?
Together, a family. The more I get to know you, nothing can compare. With all of my heart, you know I'll always be right there.
That is the promised glade, the hill we climb if only we dare it, because being American is more than a pride we inherit. It's the past we step into and how we repair it.
Did you know the river has historically been a dividing line between neighborhoods? When the North Avenue Dam was removed downstream from here, a pedestrian bridge was built across the river. Rather than a ribbon cutting, a ribbon tying took place, symbolizing connecting neighborhoods and people from both sides of the river together.
When we succeed, one less person is sent back to prison. One less victim is created. One less tear is shed. And then our communities are safer.
When I hold you, nothing can compare. With all of my heart, you know I'll always be right there.
But one thing is certain. If we merge mercy with might and might with right, then love becomes our legacy.
I would not be where I am today if someone didn't take the chance on me and provide me with opportunity. And not just opportunity in the form of tokenism or being approved of, but equal and equitable opportunity to pursue my dreams.
I am living proof of our vision of healed and healthy communities grown and tended by teens. Tonight, we are happy to say that with your support of $100,000, we can take one step closer to making that vision a reality.
Impact 100 is such an amazing organization, and as a woman in Milwaukee, I can't wait to be a part of something like this.
You guys are the rock stars. Thank you so much tonight. You're making a huge, and what I would say, and I like your terminology, a lasting impact. You are making a difference. God bless you all.
Together, oh, just you and me. The more I get to know you, the more I really care.
When day comes, we step out of the shade, aflame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms as we free it. For there is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it.
I'll always be right there.
Let's give a warm welcome to Mary Madden from NAMI.
Thank you, everybody, and thank you for having me here tonight. So I am now at that age where I can either see you or I can see my papers. So forgive me as I put my glasses on and off. I think there are some out there who probably feel my pain in this regard. Go ahead and go to the next slide, please. Thank you. All right, the power of an Impact 100 grant. When I was thinking about what to talk about, I thought, you know, there's some of the things that we knew would happen if we received this wonderful transformational grant, and then there's some things that we couldn't have even conceived. And so we start two years before, it's actually more than 2 years now, but in 2019, the fall of 2019, when I wrote that LOI, letter of intent, we couldn't have imagined what our world was going to become. And so we wrote that letter of intent at a time when NAMI Waukesha and NAMI Greater Milwaukee were two separate entities, but NAMI Waukesha was providing management oversight for NAMI Milwaukee because they had lost a leader. And as a part of that management oversight, we wanted to sit down and have a real honest discussion about the M-word merger. And I know that sometimes makes organizations feel a little nervous about it, but in anticipation for that, I wrote this letter of intent. We were doing crisis intervention training in Milwaukee, and we were doing it in Waukesha, and we were doing a fine job of it in both communities. But I thought we could do better. I thought we would be better together. And the grant and receiving the grant, I can honestly say, was the springboard for the boards coming to the conclusion, the members coming to the conclusion that yes, in fact, we could merge. And in fact, we knew that if we didn't get to the merger, we at least, in being awarded this grant, had a purpose that we could work on together to show that it could be done and that we could be stronger together. Of course, then COVID hit. And so that kind of rocked everybody's world. We didn't even know if we would get officers to show up in person in training, and CIT International said, nope, there will be no virtual training for CIT, you can't do it. And they're right, you can't. There's a lot of experiential in-person training that happens during that week-long course, and it just would not have been done justice virtually. But guess what? Law enforcement officers show up with masks on in person, and we did not miss one beat in being able to complete our 8 CIT training sessions in the 2 years for the grant. Every class was full with 30 officers. And what that training, a week-long training session, it doesn't, it's like, well, what is that? Well, it starts out with an overview of mental illness, and it ends up with an entire day of scenario-based training where actors come in and they assist the officers with practicing their de-escalation skills throughout the week. But there's kind of a magical thing that happens during CIT, and it usually happens on Tuesday. On Tuesday of CIT week, we bring in an individual who does a 2-hour session called Taking Care of Our Own. And his name is Chris Prohut, and he does not identify himself as former law enforcement for the first hour of his presentation. He talks about his mental illness. He talks about how it has affected his family. He talks about treatment and the importance of treatment. And he talks about the fact that law enforcement officers are more likely to die by their own hand than they are in the line of duty. And then, after the break, he talks to them about what his experience as a law enforcement officer was and how he came that close to losing his life because we're tough and we don't ask for help, and we take on all this kind of trauma that we see every single day and are too embarrassed or there's too much stigma to ask for help. So on Tuesday of CIT week, we start to see a change with the folks that are there. Suddenly it's not, I'm coming to this class to learn how to help them. It's, wow, this class is like, it's all of us. It's all of us. And Chris will even ask a question. He'll say, 1 in 5 people are affected by mental illness. Who's willing to raise their hand? And in the first few years that we did CIT, nobody raised their hand. And then one day someone raised his hand. And he talked about suffering after seeing a traumatic incident and having to go for therapy. And so on Tuesday of CIT week, we all become one. And throughout the week, we bring in people with lived experience. We bring in family members to help them understand how important CIT is, how they understand that we have not enough services, we have overburdened systems, and sometimes our police officers have to respond to mental health crisis, and we want them to do that confidently and compassionately and to get people connected to the right services, not take them to jail if it's not warranted. So one particular family member that talks during CIT week is Jim, and Jim talks about the difference in response before CIT and after CIT. Jim has 2 adult children with schizophrenia, and in their jurisdiction, they didn't have any CIT officers a few years ago. And he said the officers were really kind and compassionate when they'd come out. They didn't do anything wrong, but they often seemed helpless, and didn't really know what to do. Jim's children weren't in need of any kind of emergency detention. They weren't doing anything to break the law. It was just a very difficult, volatile situation at home, and they needed assistance. He said the first time that those officers, 2 officers came who had been trained in CIT, it was like night and day. He said they were competent, they felt confident, you could see it, and they knew all the resources. They were connecting with mobile crisis units to make sure that mental health professionals could help in the situation, and he now speaks to most of our CIT classes and thanks the officers for being there and helps them to understand what an absolute difference it can make. One of the things that we knew would happen would be improved access. CIT Week is filled with various experts from the community, from local health and human services, local mental health professionals, mobile crisis teams, and they come in and they meet the officers, they give them their contact information and invite them to contact them if they're having any issues. That bridge that CIT has created between mental health professionals, advocates, family members, individuals impacted by mental health conditions, and law enforcement is unbelievably priceless in what it has done. And along with that is the improved community collaborations. When I first started at NAMI back in 2008, I remember sitting at tables of some meetings where there would be law enforcement there and there would be advocates there, and people, they literally would not look at each other, let alone communicate. It was really, really difficult, and I thought, wow, this is super awkward. How are we going to get past this and begin to work together? And CIT has been that conduit that has absolutely created those collaborations. So I want to tell you a few things about, we can go to the next slide, please. I know I'm just supposed to nod, but I can't quite see back there, so I don't know if he's, so we've got, here's, some of our presenters, some of our class participants, our graduates. Here's some of the things that officers are saying about CIT. And these are from these classes. I think patience is an action, and taking a few more minutes or even seconds can make a difference in resolutions. Patience, reminding myself that there is not a need to push this issue if it's not a true emergency. This was an amazing course, and I will never hesitate to seek help for myself or someone else after this class. Scenarios were a highlight of the week. It pulled everything together and gave us time to practice. I learned a lot about mental health symptoms, which I can identify on the road and can assist people in crisis. As law enforcement, we always focus on and take care of others at their worst. This has law enforcement not thinking about themselves or their own. The real-life experience of being able to talk with somebody in recovery is priceless. And this is one of my favorites. I met someone on the site visit who I had to detain a few years ago when he was dealing with psychosis. He is now working and volunteering, living on his own, and has repaired his relationship with his family. I would have never believed it possible if I had not experienced it here. Next slide, please. So here's some of the things that we didn't expect when we were granted an Impact 100 grant. The first was the leveraging of funds. We hoped that it would happen, but we weren't sure. And in fact, we were able to leverage an additional $50,000 to fund our project, which provided us with the ability to not just do the 8 classes, but also to provide training for corrections officers so that our jail staff is feeling confident, and also to do some advanced CIT training for officers who needed refreshers or wanted to learn about a specific subject. The community-wide recognition has been amazing. Since we got the grant, we have become a certified crisis intervention training team through the state of Wisconsin. The state of Wisconsin has become certified through CIT International for our training program, and this all gives us that additional recognition and ability to seek funds that might not otherwise be available to us. The grant writing improvements, I cannot talk about that enough. Boy, did we learn a lot about what it puts. I mean, it was intense, I'm not gonna lie. But you know what? We had a team of people who rallied with us, who had experienced CIT, who came. Our site visit was virtual, and we had law enforcement, we had somebody who couldn't make it, so she did a video for us, we had family members. It was amazing. And just the ability to go through that process, start with that letter of intent, and then getting that invitation to write the grant. You feel like you've won the lottery just there. And then being able to go through that grant writing process. It really did improve our abilities to do that grant writing. And then new people. We've been able to engage new expert speakers from all the communities that we serve, but particularly in Milwaukee. We've been able to really expand our range, and we actually have people calling us and saying, could I speak at your CIT? Which is amazing. I think one of the best things, though, for new people is we were and we are the first CIT team in the state of Wisconsin to hire a full-time crisis training coordinator who recently retired from Delafield Police Department as the captain. He's an advocate, he's a family member, he's been involved at NAMI for 15 years, and he is an absolute perfect fit. And that, I think, is one of the biggest things that came out of us being able to expand our program through this grant. And of course, the new and expanded collaborations. The Impact 100 grant that we received truly has made a lasting impact. And that impact, it would be impossible to even measure it, because every one of those officers that has been trained now goes out and not only helps people in the community, but is able to help themselves, help their family members, and just keep paying it forward with that knowledge. So thank you so much for the grant and for all the lasting changes that you have made in our community.
Thank you, Mary. Thanks for letting us know what's going on with NAMI. That's fantastic. Pastor James Buskey could not be here tonight because of a scheduling conflict, but he has sent a video to let us know what's going on at Lighthouse Youth Center with our $100,000 grant.
Good evening, ladies. My name is Jim Buskey, and I'm pastor and executive director of an after-school program called Lighthouse Youth Center. The Lighthouse Youth Center provides a safe, structured place for kids to gather ages 10 through 18 in 3 Milwaukee neighborhoods, giving young people a place to grow physically, spiritually, emotionally, academically, and physically. Lighthouse Youth Center is a 2020 Impact 100 award recipient, as we took an old, outdated kitchen in a church basement and wrote a grant to you to renovate it for our new program, Plan, Prep, and Partake. Well, as you can see, we're a little behind in our project. After 3 months of architectural delays, after we won the grant, 15 months of working with the city of Milwaukee, we are finally in the process of the demo stage. We actually were able to do the demo about 3 months ago. And right now our HVAC and the sprinkler systems are waiting for approval from the city of Milwaukee. And we finally got good news that later this month, September of 2022, our project will begin. It's been a labor of love. It's taught me a lot of patience. It's something that I'm not real good at learning. And then the one downfall is because of COVID and the shortage of products, the price has actually increased by about 40%. But we are committed to this program, to making this facility, this kitchen, a learning, teaching kitchen for young people to learn about food, to learn skills to communicate with one another and make healthy meals and give them an opportunity to cook for their family right now and maybe in the future and maybe even future employment. So we're super excited about this as soon as it does get done. I couldn't be here tonight, and I just wanted to say on behalf of Lighthouse students, the board of directors, and the communities we serve, we want to say thank you for investing in Lighthouse, and we'll send you more pictures as this project gets completed. If you're new to Impact 100 or you're thinking about joining this group, I'm going to tell you, do it. It is a fantastic group of women who, in a very physical and literal way, they put their impact on the city of Milwaukee, changing lives both now and for a better Milwaukee, a better future. Again, on behalf of Lighthouse, I want to say thank you and God bless.
Thank you to both presenters this evening. It's really great to have our Impact 100 grantees and our family kind of come back and tell us their story after they've been awarded the grant. Now I'm going to pivot to membership, because membership is how we get the funding to award the grants. Membership is critical to our success as an organization. The more members we have, the more purposeful, transformational, and sustainable grants we can award. Our model is simple. Each member donates $1,100. $1,000 goes directly towards funding our grants. For every 100 members, we fund a $100,000 grant. Let's listen to a few of our members about the value that they've seen in their Impact 100 membership.
I've been a member of Impact 100 since the second year, and I just renewed my membership for year 6 as a sustaining member because I want to support this organization for the long haul.
Thank you, Impact 100. Thank you, Impact 100.
This is going to make such a great impact on the number of students that we're able to serve. I'm so excited. Right. It's bubbling up right now.
And for me, it's been an eye-opening experience to be part of the Family Grant Committee this year and learn about so many worthy organizations right here in our area. It's also been fun to meet so many amazing and accomplished women within Impact 100, and exciting to see what a group of women can do for the good of the community.
Well, I know that women really want to make a difference in the world, and they love making a difference together. And what a great concept to bring a lot of women together to each give a little bit to make a really big difference. And I think it's really exciting.
I love the idea of women giving, women deciding what to do with their money and donating to really worthwhile causes that speak to them. I have a lot of passions, and I love this organization for the way they do things. I've been a member for several years, and I'm very happy with it.
I love to follow my dollar donation from start to finish, and I love being involved with the process of deciding where those dollars will go. I think it's a very equitable system, objective, but it brings together a lot of women with a lot of various backgrounds and a lot of professional experience that plays into the final decision, and it's a lot of fun.
This is just going to be huge in terms of impact. Thank you so much.
Hey there, I'm Jamie Malatesta, and I am humbled and honored to have been a part of launching Impact 100 Greater Milwaukee back in 2015. And the thing that has surprised me the most is our rapid growth in membership. But the thing that hasn't surprised me is the women of Impact 100. They are generous, and their leadership is phenomenal. And so the women have made Impact 100 what it is today. So thank you to all of the women who have joined us. You have listened and supported our community. And now more than ever in this ever-changing world, the nonprofits need us and our grant monies. So thank you again.
100. Woo!
For as much as you've said you're inspired by the work that we do, we truly are inspired by what you have been able to accomplish as well, working together, not against one another, but really together. You're generous, and you've all been so kind to us. Thank you.
Now it's my honor to welcome Julie Gilpin, our president-elect. She is going to close with some notes on member engagement. Julie?
Thank you, Stacy. Stronger together. Those words certainly describe collective giving, don't they? Just a few things to let you know who I am before we start talking about what we can all do together. For those of you who I have not yet had the pleasure of meeting, as Stacy said, I'm Julie Gilpin, and I'm truly honored to be about to serve as your president-elect. I come back to the Impact 100 board table as a member since 2015, and with a passion for our mission and great enthusiasm for our potential. I come to the table as a results-driven HR person who loves big ideas and big plans. I come to the table as a formerly skeptical Milwaukee transplant who now, 2 decades later, after living, working, and volunteering in Milwaukee, finally feels a little bit more at home. And I come to the table with a strong family background and tradition of giving back to one's community through time, talent, and treasure. And I come with over 20 years of volunteer experience, having served a variety of organizations in a multitude of capacities, from just a member to fully engaged worker bee, and from cheerleader to even more engaged leadership and chairmanships. And finally, I come to the table with a compassionate heart and life perspective that we all have from being wives, mothers, sisters, and friends. I'm hoping that all these attributes together will help me serve Impact 100 well. As you've heard from many people tonight, the last time we were all stronger together was back in June at the annual award celebration, or as I'm sure you figured out, the AAC. The power of collective giving was certainly on display in that room, and all there certainly felt it. As I watched that evening unfold, my thoughts floated to one of my favorite quotes. The famous anthropologist Margaret Mead stated, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has." Upon further reflection, dare I say, I think that Angelique Velez and Sophia Monroe of the Be Remarkable Foundation perfected Margaret Mead's thoughts when they stated, "Do not underestimate the power of a group of passionate women coming together to get things done." The International Impact 100 movement and our very own Impact 100 Greater Milwaukee movement were both started by a small, strong, committed group of passionate women, and they have certainly gotten things done. Together, Impact 100s are changing their corners of the world in fantastic ways. To date, thousands of women have joined together and given over $105 million to transform their communities. As you may recall, as you just heard, in our last Impact year right here in Milwaukee, we were over 400 members strong, allowing us to give away 4 $100,000 grants in just one night. A small group may have started this impact movement, but it now takes a bigger group of engaged, passionate members to continue to achieve and better our already great results. We can only continue to give away grant money and positively impact our community if we have members who are engaged in our mission and in our work. As our time together tonight comes to a close, I leave you with a challenge and some ideas to consider as you figure out ways to meet that challenge. We need you, our members, to engage not only in our mission, but in our work. I challenge you to engage in our work. I challenge you, just as you have tonight, to attend events, to join a grants committee, to help plan special events, to work behind the scenes, to invite qualified nonprofits you know of to apply for our grants. solicit sponsors for our events, and maybe, most importantly, help us recruit more women to join. To meet this challenge, please consider a few things. Consider inviting a friend for a walk and talk about why you joined Impact 100. Have friends over for coffee and tell them how great it felt to be stronger together at the AAC. Talk to female coworkers about what collective giving is and why they should be involved. Persuade your already Impact member friends to come to events with you, like December 1st, the Helping Hand event right here. Have you considered meeting new people? Join a grants committee in a zip code that is not your own. Have you considered learning something new through your Impact experience? Maybe you're a lifelong professional accountant with an interest in marketing. Consider joining in on our marketing and communication efforts. Have you considered board service? Maybe you are a governance expert who could really make an impact on our board. Or maybe you're just kind of thinking about board service in the next year or two. Let us know. Consider self-nominating. Have you considered being a role model for the professional women in your workplace? Make sure they know you're a member of Impact 100 and all about the great work we do. Have you considered asking the company you work for to underwrite part of an upcoming event? Ask us how we can help you make that ask. This is how we engage in the work of Impact 100. Remember the old saying, you get out of something what you put into it? Well, that's true for your Impact experience. And we hope that you will consider putting not only your treasure of $1,100, but also engaging and giving of your time and talent in whatever way you can. The more members we bring together by December, the more money we can grant back to our community in June. The more engaged our membership is, the stronger our organization will be, and the faster we will reach our potential. Stronger together. Let's keep engaging in our work and our mission. Let's keep recruiting women to join. Let's keep getting bigger and stronger and more impactful together. Thank you all for coming tonight, and we look forward to seeing you on December 1st. Good evening.